Hey, Universal and horror fans, welcome back to Halloween Horror World. I'm your host, Crazy Englishman, and today we have a fantastic guest. She's been a scare actor at Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood since 2012, and today we're going to bring her on. So, please welcome Jen.
Hi guys, I'm Jen.
So we've had you on the show today, but today it's all about you. We're going to be talking about your experiences as a scare actor at horror.
Great, love talking about myself.
Don't we all? I'm just kidding. So today we're gonna just go through a few basic questions that the audience might be curious about, what it's like to work for Horror Nights.
All right.
So let's get off. So I've said that you've worked the 2012 event, and so what made you want to go into being a scare actor?
Well, 2012 was the year that I graduated high school, and all 4 years of high school I've been in theater, been heavily involved in theater, acting and stuff like that, and I've always done like rom-coms, comedy, dramas and stuff like that, and I've never really explored the horror genre before, and my father, who works at Universal, told me about the event where people are going to be auditioning for scare actors, and I was really excited about it, so I put in my application, but I didn't end up getting called for it until mid-October, because that's when people started to like kind of give up on it, or they got too tired, or things got in the way where they couldn't do it and everything. So I got called in for Scare Pool, and they just went from there.
Okay, so tell us what it was like going through the process of becoming a scare actor.
Well, my kind of experience wasn't necessarily the exact same as people would be in the beginning of summer, because that's when it starts out. The beginning of summer is when people start doing the auditions and letting people know and everything. But since I was part of Scare Pool, I had a relatively small group, whereas if you're normally had a huge, thousands of people who would audition for the first couple of days of auditions for the first end. But with me, handful of people that wanted to do it. Basically, they give you a call saying, hey, we want you in. You go to the place where they set you up in, you sign in, they give you a number, then they call you in as a group, and usually like 2 or 3 groups depending upon how many people are in there. Since we had a relatively small group, we had like 2 different groups. Call you in, ask you what your favorite Universal, not necessarily Universal horror movie, but your favorite horror movie in general, what you like about Universal, what made you want to audition for Horror Nights, what you currently do as a job, or if you're unemployed and whatnot, so stuff like that. So
once you get casted for the part for Horror Nights, so what's it like going through the makeup for Horror Nights?
Makeup is well, if you're in the beginning part, after you've done the whole extensive audition and everything, which I don't really want to go into because it's kind of a secret sort of, but it's really extensive. It's a lot of fun. But after you go through all of that, they call you in, and for the makeup, basically, when you're at the very beginning of it, I know this from a couple of friends who've done it from the beginning, they basically go down and they give you life casts of your whole like upper area of your face and everything, and all around. And if you have like if you have a whole body suit, they life cast your whole body. They make the prosthetics based upon your face or your body and whatnot, and they put the makeup on beforehand. They have several copies of that prosthetic that they make, because something could tear or something like that. And it really sometimes it's really rough when they take the stuff off of you. So they have several copies of the prosthetics that they make. Then they pre-paint it so it's ready to go and stuff. They only add a few more touches when you're in the makeup chair. They only add a few touches like blood or bruises or like blending and all that kind of stuff. And normally it takes about 15 minutes because the makeup artists have to work relatively quick.
They go through hundreds of scare actors.
Hundreds of scare actors, and there's like only about 15 makeup artists.
That's incredible.
And they're all professionals and very, very good at what they do.
Boneyard Effects is just a fantastic makeup.
It is such a good makeup, and also Skin Illustrator. I'm a makeup person. I want to do makeup and stuff. So the Skin Illustrator actually made a palette specifically for Horror Nights.
That's cool.
Yeah, and Skin Illustrator is a huge name when it comes to like alcohol activated paints and palettes and other things like that, and they're huge in that, and the fact that they had a huge name make something specifically for Horror Nights is amazing.
Well, Universal doesn't really throw punches when it comes to hiring the best in the business. I mean, they get their own Hollywood set builders to create some of the coolest like mazes, and so it's no wonder they got the best effects team to do that.
Yeah, they do, and the amount of makeup that they have, all the things that they have, it's just it's a makeup artist's dream when you walk in there and you see all the products and stuff, and you're like, oh, it's so cool. Especially when they put it on you and everything. It's such a fun process, despite the smells.
So talking about character-wise, you become the character. So what characters did you inhabit in your time at Horror Nights for 2012?
Well, I was in a thing called Scare Pool, which is basically they plug you in wherever they need you on a certain maze, whether it be for a couple days or just that one night. You don't really know what maze you're going to be in until that night. Whereas,
so it's like Russian roulette.
Yeah, pretty much. It's character roulette, pretty much, is what it is. You don't know where the bullet is and everything. But what I was in for the first several days that I did Horror Nights, I was in a maze called La Llorona. It was the 2012 version, which was so much better than the 2011 version, let me tell you. And then on Halloween night, best night of my life, we did The Walking Dead, and that was awesome. And I unfortunately I didn't really know anything about the show, but just the fact that I knew a lot of people that were really in The Walking Dead and other people like that, I was part of that maze. It just made it really cool. It wasn't until after I was in the maze that I realized, oh my gosh, I could have been a better walker than I was during the performance.
Well, I said on my top 5, it was one of my favorite mazes. So
I can see why. It's perfect.
Oh, Dead Inside was one of the best, I think, in terms of capturing the feel of the show. And
the detail. It's just amazing.
It's fantastic. And like the scare actors in the hospital, the setting gave you guys so much to work with. It was fantastic.
I was in the hospital scene.
Oh, yes. The dead bodies.
Dead bodies full of carnage and everything. In La Llorona, I was a dead child. I was like one of the first dead children that you see in the window. Yeah, I know. One of the first dead children that you see in the whole catacombs of all the dead children lying in their little coffin areas and stuff. I was one of the children that come out of the windows and everything. And then The Walking Dead, I was in the carnage pit where you're on the hospital beds and there's like dead bodies and body parts and blood splattered everywhere. And there's 2 different characters. There's one character on one side of the hall because you're in a hallway, and then there's another one, which is where I was on. I was on the right side instead of the left side. I was on the right side. And it was so much fun.
Oh, it looked fun.
It's so much fun.
So, take us through really quickly the night of a scare actor, starting from like makeup to getting to your maze.
Well, you can come as call time is technically around 5:30 to 6 o'clock, whereas the opening time is around 8 o'clock. 8:30 is the soft opening, where the first couple hundred people go in, and then 9 o'clock is when everybody comes in. You can start as early as 4 o'clock to go in to get your makeup done and everything, depending upon how extensive the makeup is and everything. I know for a fact Sewer's Walker and the bicycle girl was the longest. Basically you clock in with the person that's in charge of your roster and everything, so you can start your work time. Then usually that starts at 6 o'clock, and then if you're in Scare Pool, you basically get lined up on a wall. And the people that are in charge of the mazes or in charge of putting people in certain places has a list of people that are needed for that night who called out sick or they're missing positions and stuff like that. And they base off your body type and kind of your preference, whether you're allergic to like latex if you put on a mask or something like that, or your physicality and everything, they put you in a maze where you're most needed. And then after that, they give you a number. You go to the number. You go to the person who's in charge of that maze. Then they write you down on their roster, and then they say, hey, okay, this you got this number. Okay, you're gonna be a Carnage Walker. So basically, what you need is this number for the costume, this number for the makeup. Go to costume, go to makeup, get your things. Basically, you have to give them something valuable in order for them to give you the stuff like your driver's license or your credit card or something like that to hold on. Well, I wouldn't suggest the credit card, but your
some ID,
some sort of identification of some sort in order for you to get your costume, because it kind of works that way. So they can't run away. They have something valuable. They give you that. You go to a changing room. Get cozy with a couple other characters. They have boys on one side, guys, and girls on the other side. So, you know. But you gotta get cozy with another person. Don't be afraid to get naked and everything. So in front of them, get your costume on, and then you get in line for makeup. Makeup takes about 15 minutes, which is relatively quick for the amount of makeup that they put on certain people. Then if you need blood, they got a blood spatter person that they just throw blood on you and wherever it looks best. If you have a prop, you go to the prop section. You tell them what number you are. They give you your prop. Also, the airbrushing station. Like if let's say you're a nurse from Silent Hill, which was big that year. They give you all your veins and stuff like that. They got all the parts accentuated and everything like that. then like if you need your eyes blacked out for a mask or something, you go to the airbrushing station, and then after that you go to your spot. The park is closed already. They close it an hour early before the event happens, so you're able to walk or have someone drive you down to like to lower lot or somewhere you need to be on the back lot for the terror tram or something. And then basically you get positioned. They have a little powwow before then and everything with people who are in charge of the maze, and then kind of just break, get in your positions, have a few run-throughs and everything, so you get into the groove of things and everything, get in character, and then the night goes on. Oh my gosh, the first hour or so, it's very energetic and high energy and everything. You're totally into it, but once the second hour comes in, you're kind of like, okay, it's good. Third hour, you're like, okay, I gotta get through this. And the fourth hour, on and on, you're constantly wearing down, but you gotta keep that energy up in order for you. Then you gotta make sure that the first person, the last person has the same exact scare experience as the person before them, and you got breaks, obviously, you got lunches in between and everything. All your muscles are like wearing down, your voice is raw, your feet are absolutely sore and everything. You're probably hurt yourself on accident, but you gotta muscle through it and everything. Then probably deal with some irate guests who are trying to like get at you, but you're gonna like, whoa, don't touch me or anything like that. We've had a couple of close calls, a couple times, and then end of the night, the last guest goes through. Okay, good job, everybody. Let's go to scare base so we can get our makeup off and go home. Getting the makeup off is kind of painful if you have a huge prosthetic on your face because it's pulling at your skin and everything. But it's a lot of fun because you can see your face at the end of it, and you're like, yes, I'm done. I survived the night and everything. Then you sign out, you get your identification form from the people at the costumes. You give your costumes back. They wash it or whatever, Febreze it or whatever, and then you're off, go home, go to bed, and then wake up the next day.
Repeat, rinse and repeat.
Yep. Yep, pretty much. That's the day of a character.
So do you have a favorite story from being in a maze?
Oh, do I? I have three. One's a cool thing that just happened to me in La Llorona, while the other ones are just too funny to pass up. Walking Dead, Halloween night was absolutely hilarious. We had so many people. When you have so many people, there's a chance that things get backed up in the maze, so then you have people at a standstill and you gotta improvise and everything to make sure that you keep on going. I had a friend who worked at The Walking Dead who was actually my partner in the hospital scene, and it was really cool because I'm like, oh my gosh, I know you from beforehand, and now we're working together, and it's really cool. So we're both kind of dead against the wall, and we kind of noticed these group of girls, which is like the perfect target.
Of course.
Middle school, teenage girls, perfect target. And then they're coming in, they're holding each other and everything, they're frightened, they're scared out of their wits and everything, they don't know what's going on, they just think they're walking through a corridor, but really there's two zombies that are kind of hanging out there. He looks at me, I look at him, we're like, okay, let's do this. He scares the girls, he lunges at them, and the girls are kind of going back towards me, they don't know that I'm there, so I kind of lunge out towards them, and basically it's ping pong, going back and forth and everything. We're there for a while because of the backup, and then once it started moving, the girls were kind of still there. It was like about half a minute at this point. Like 30 seconds, and then it got to the point where people were like yelling, "Move it!" And we're just like, "Oh shit, we'll probably stop." So we kind of just eased up a little bit so they can move back. It was just so funny because they're running and crying and screaming, and we're like, "Oh, best moment." Second moment was a cool moment that happened in La Llorona, which was The Voice films on the back lot, and relatively, if you work at the Universal lot, sometimes you get to see them while they're filming and everything, but what's really cool is that Blake Shelton decided to show up at Horror Nights. I don't know if the other cast members or anything showed up at Horror Nights, but I know for a fact that Blake Shelton did, because I saw him through the curtains and I'm like freaking out. I'm trying to hold in my inner fangirl. Oh my god, Blake Shelton's right there. Oh my god, Blake Shelton is right there. And so I'm in my mask and everything. I come out tall, really tall. Like literally, he's so tall that he's his face level.
Really?
Yeah, he's a really tall dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like almost face level with the window that I'm in.
Yeah.
And I see him, and I come out with my shaker can and everything, my mask on, I kind of like go like this and everything. And he's like, "Whoa, that's cool!" And I'm like, "Oh my god, Blake Shelton called me cool. Blake Shelton called me cool," and everything. I come back and everything. Now, by far, the best scary moment that happened was actually in La Llorona. It was the day before I saw Blake Shelton and everything. But oh my gosh, you're gonna crack up. There's these guys. It's kind of the same thing that happened with the girls, only it happened with guys. And these big guys are like kind of like, hey, I'm gonna do my best. I'm not gonna get scared or anything like that. Well, the joke is that they're actually scared out of their wits. Now they're holding on to each other, ass the crotch, holding each other on a conga line, trying not to they're trying to avoid everybody. They got scared in the area before me. I'm the first person that you see when you go into the little catacomb area, and there was a person that's across from me that it's a girl who is also a child too. She's in a corner scare, so it's a window and a window on each side of the corners, so they can kind of go back and forth through each window. So they don't know that, but you don't think to look up because we're up higher. They don't think to look up. They're looking on either side and everything, but misdirection, we're kind of on the top. And the funniest thing, they're coming in after the section where the bride is coming in, and all of a sudden, me and the person, this was not choreographed at all, this just happened. Me and the person across from me went at the same exact time. Not only did they drop, they screamed bloody murder, and they were crawling on the ground to get to the next area. The people had to tell them to get up, you need to get up. And they're like, no, man, no, F this, man. And they're crawling. Now, you know, they're crawling.
Oh, my God.
It was the funniest thing.
So, thank you for being on the show, Jen. I have a great respect for scare actors, and this has been a fantastic experience learning about what it's been like to be a scare actor, one of our favorite events at Horror Nights. So, to finish off, is there any advice you'd like to give to people that want to be as scare actors? I'm sure maybe one or two of my audience members might be curious to try it out maybe this year.
Well, basically there's a website for you to check on during the summertime called USHjobs.com. Check on it religiously during the summertime, and they'll say, hey, there's going to be an interview, there's going to be an audition for certain things coming up. Even if you're looking for a new job, go on USH Jobs. They're hiring all the time at Universal, and it's such a great company to work for too. Also, and basically be prepared for sore throats, achy muscles, sore feet, anything. Make sure you have tons of painkillers on you. Have throat lozenges, honey, tea, anything for throat soothing. Also be prepared for irate guests or rude people, or even injuries. If you accidentally bump yourself on a wall and you got a little scratch, be prepared for that, because that happens a lot. Sometimes you get too into the moment where you accidentally hurt yourself. And also just prepare to have fun. If you have any doubts on whether or not you should do it or not, just do it anyway. Just the fact that you get to meet new people who are passionate about either acting or performing or horror movies, or just want to do it just for fun. It's good to meet new people, and if you want to take a couple friends with you, more than welcome to. Just make sure that they put their application in too if they want to do it also. Or if you just want to go at it alone, have at it. It's a lot of fun, and it's totally worth it in the end.
Well, thank you for joining me on the show, and thank you, audience, for watching this interview with a scare actor. Hope new videos soon, and I hope to see you soon. So, Crazy Englishman signing off.
Jen signing off.